From the album, The Diary of Alicia Keys, that is a tune called Karma. What goes up must come down. What goes around comes around. All of those things that we tell ourselves, expecting that there will be some kind of divine intervention or kind of a stance on our behalf when we are wronged. And imagine if it really worked that evenly. If you did somebody wrong and then in short order you would have your comeuppance for that. That's not how it works. But it's an interesting concept to sort of debate. I don't wait for fate to get justice for me.
You go after your own, or how do you get your catharsis?
Sometimes
let it go, like Prince was saying.
No. I mean, most of the time I do, because I don't want to carry around those feelings with me. But for me, it's more of if I have an opportunity to acknowledge that I've been wronged, then that's enough, because you can't ever demand an adequate apology. You can't ever demand that somebody's going to make amends, because either if you have to demand it, then it's not genuine. So, just in that concept. So I say I have a cousin Karma. I appreciate the concept of it. But for
you
me,
hit a nerve with a lot of people listening, how they deal with it. I'm going to take the other stance,
which is,
we've been buked, we've been wronged. When I put my hat on, I feel like a superhero.
Okay. And Mike is wearing his Make Black film.
I don't know what it did to me. I didn't have a kid. I didn't have a father to bounce a ball with when I was growing up. But when I put this hat on, I feel my true identity, and I feel so strong. And in alliance with our first guest on the line, Mr.
Excellent.
Eden Marryshow, who's coming to Philly tonight at the Bank Building.
The Bank Building.
3750 Lancaster Avenue, to share with us the Philadelphia premiere of his award-winning movie Bruce, with 3 exclamation points after it. That's yes. Bruce. He wrote it, he directed it, he stars in it, and he's on the line now. Eden Marryshow, welcome to Reelblack Radio.
Indeed. How are you today?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
I knew I had to try and match your energy. This gentleman, he's one of the most optimistic people that
you're a glass half full kind of guy, Eden.
I'm a glass all the way full kind of guy.
I love it.
I still got to cut that podcast.
Because Mike is a bit of a cynic. It's part of what helps to spur our sparring sessions here on the air quite frequently.
That's right. Everybody needs a voice.
Well, Eden knows. We had a long conversation, which is yet to be edited. We did it last year when he was screening at Urban World, and since then he's been everywhere with this movie Bruce, except Philly. So I'm super happy.
Awesome.
To bring that he's coming down. We get to like what is it? Break it down, chop wood. I hope people come out, because this will be a fun conversation for us.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be a nice day. It's gonna be a nice autumnal atmosphere.
No reason for y'all not to celebrate with us our 16th season opener. But for folks who have not been following your journey, can you share what you will?
Well, my journey. I started. My dad introduced me to everything he had. He was a teacher, or he is a teacher, an educator with the Board of Ed. As I was coming up, he had a small theater company where he would do rehearsals out of the basement, and then we would do these shows in the city, and that was my introduction to it. And I guess at the core of it, it's just that thing of a son trying to be like his dad. And then when about 16, we did a show, and then it's when you become a teenager, and you're like, I'm just doing this because you want to do it. I want to do my own thing. Then when I got to college, I realized, hey, I really love to do this. So majored in film at Brooklyn College, Brooklyn all the way through. And then I started working for the Board of Education and out in Far Rockaway, Queens, where I was working with what they call them at-risk kids, which is kind of a crappy label, but America needs labels.
Right.
And then from there, man, this whole kind of journey to get me here is just a student that I had. Her name is Latina Bilbro. I was like 18. I was an assistant teacher. She was 8. That first class I had was called Class 511. And basically, she and the class believed in me and believed in my dreams. And fast forward to 10 years later, she was killed in a drive-by. And that was kind of it for me, man. That was the breaking point. I was just like, I'm going to make this dream happen for both of us. I'm going to prove you right. And, yeah, man, from there on, from that kind of moment on, it took me like another year after she passed to just, like, get the nerve up. I didn't want to be like my music teacher in the 7th grade that was just trying to crush people's dreams, go after his own. So that was the goal. The goal was the only way my kids were going to see that it's possible is if I did it,
Right.
And I could say that I did it. So that's kind of where we're at. And then lastly, I made a film while I was still working at the Board of Ed in 2005 called This Thing Called Love. That was a romantic comedy that we made for like $300. It was 90 minutes, and we made it with family and friends. And then Mike, you kind of gave us life and energy, man, because through Ralph Scott, who we met on the street, selling our DVDs out of our van, he hooked us up with you, and then you gave us kind of our first screening of that film.
Nice.
And that was over 10 years ago, and it's just to kind of wrap it up. I'm so grateful that we have the opportunity to screen it at Reelblack.
The full circle thing,
dope.
Yeah. But the film we're showing now is Bruce.
Yeah.
So that's your second feature, but the first one to kind of get your name out there in a big way. And
yes.
It's a big.
Yeah, man. So and the other great thing about it too is you have three Philly actors in it. So it was definitely like a kind of big dream of mine to have a screening and have a premiere in Philly. So the female lead, Malaya is from Philly, Celestine, who plays my sister, and then a gentleman at the end, Kevin, is also.
So you're Jay-Z up your cast. You just took all of Philly and made it look Brooklyn.
I always like Philly, Baltimore, and Brooklyn are very similar energy.
Yeah, they are.
I have a hard time sometimes, like, deciphering between the three. I'm like, oh yeah, you're from Brooklyn, right? It's like, no, I'm from Philly. It's like, oh, really? Makes sense. So it makes sense that he had a lot of Philly cats in the movie.
Yes, indeed. And so, this whole idea of modeling, though, I really want people to appreciate this notion that you came from a household where not only did you see creativity in practice, but it was clearly nurtured in you. I imagine that as a young, imaginative young man, having that support to develop your creativity was invaluable.
Yes. Very much so. Between my mom and my dad, and also the modeling is super important. I always think about it, where it's like you tell kids to do something, but they're only going to do what they see, because it's monkey see, monkey do. They're only good. So if a parent is like, you got to go out there, you got to follow their dreams, and that parent isn't going after it, the kid is not going to go after it more than likely, as opposed to the opposite of that. I think modeling is super important.
Yeah, if you see it, you can be it. But then, a lot of times, how you identify your work. I always say, are you a black filmmaker? Are you a filmmaker who happens to be black? A lot of people don't necessarily want to shoulder that responsibility in the process of being creative. I mean, how do you see your body of work, or what your intentions are?
I mean, I guess if I lived on a different continent or a different planet, I could not be a black filmmaker, right? I mean,
yes.
But just the history of this country, yeah, I am a black filmmaker who wants to make films about people. I feel like from my kind of like festival journey, I feel like there's a slight microaggression with the films, that some of the films with like brown and black faces that are allowed to be made. Will just show us in light. It's usually about the guy coming out of the hood that's making something of him or herself, and those stories are important. And again, I'm from I mean, I know these stories. I've seen these stories, but there's also something to be said for a story about just a person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just you know what I mean? That's what Bruce is about. It's just a guy. He's an entitled a-hole. You know what I mean? He's an entitled American a-hole. He's a product of this country. And it's just made for people to laugh. And it's a completely it's a completely diverse cast, something that represents what I've seen New York to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes in a weird way that can rub people the wrong way unconsciously. But it's like, no, this is a movie just about a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So I look for that. I feel like that's the next stage. That's the next evolution. Yeah, I'm a black filmmaker, but I make movies.
Well, yeah. Well,
I want Asian people in my movies. I want Indian people in my movies. I want different kind of folks that have also been oppressed, that get way less light than my people get.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I mean, well, Eden. We're speaking with Eden Marryshow, whose film Bruce screens tonight.
Yeah.
7:30 p.m. Yeah. Pay what you want at the Bank Building. Eden's on his way down from New York to be there for the Q&A. So and this, it's a very important. I think the people come out and support things. Or if you can't make it, I know, like this is a premiere. It's not available anywhere else. Don't think you're gonna go watch it on Netflix but. At this point, it will be everywhere soon. But we have a privilege of premiering it here. But it brings to mind this 2018. There's a perception that the door has been unlocked and black folks are making these films. I think it's just the same ratio that has always been. It's just that we have more choices overall. But I'm also, seeing that our black culture that people have not been paying attention to at all is suddenly commodified. Someone sees value in it, and certainly your luck is when preparation meets opportunity. You have had the good fortune of going to festivals. You've won at least 2 awards at Martha's Vineyard and American Black Film Festival. What is your take on where people's mindset is in terms of this door being open?
When I look at the door being opened, I'm thinking about when I started making films and working with actual film and how expensive that was. Anybody out there who's listening remembers how expensive that was, as opposed to now where I could just use my iPhone to make a movie from beginning to end that looks way better than the mini DV stuff I was trying to use back in the days.
Oh, brother, I still have nightmares about mini DV.
Yeah, shout out to Steve Jobs.
That's amazing. I literally just found my dad kept over 200 mini DV tapes of a film that I'm actually putting together now that I made in 2002 that I'm re-editing and putting together to kind of validate the 23-year-old version of myself. But I think about that in terms of access and how that is, regardless of what all these people are saying about, our opportunities and all this stuff. But we made music, I feel because that was a cheap thing. Your talent could come out. We were so good at music and these other things because it wasn't a monetary thing. Where film has always been a thing of access, you had to have money to make it. And now the playing field in that way to me is starting to be leveled. And my kind of goal is to show people look, you don't have to have a lot of money to make something. And to show, yes, black people, yes, we can do this. So, yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I don't think that it's necessarily what everybody's saying it is. But I do think that with people like yourself and people like myself, we have a format now. We have a thing that we can actually level the playing field ourselves, but that's a personal responsibility thing for filmmakers. Yeah. We have to do it because nobody else is going to do it.
Well, just be clear, just to interject quickly, the pipeline is there. The pipeline has been built over all these years. And what's great, even though, I reserve my right to be critical about anything. I'm not a loyalist to anybody. But, you know, the end result, if you're creating jobs and opportunities for other people to experience and learn from other people's mistakes on your dime, then I'm happy for you. So all these shows that are out, if there are more black faces on the set, getting those experiences firsthand, like you said, if you can see it, you can be it, then that's the upside of everything. Yeah. But then, you know, the commodification is like the next wave of people. If they just look at the end result and they don't come out to events like tonight where they get to meet you and speak directly, you know, I feel like we could possibly get mumble rap black film in 15 years.
I think, that's a great point.
So that's my anxiety, but you know.
Well, I was gonna say, but even with purists around, you can't prevent mumble rap from bubbling up. If people want to be willfully ignorant about the history of what they do and want to disassociate themselves from it intentionally, which some of these young people have done, like, I'm the hottest thing out, I don't need to know about the people that did this 20 years before I do, then, you know, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Well, that's perfectly fine. I mean, audacity is what gets you through the first couple doors. You know, you have to have confidence in yourself. You can't constantly be comparing yourself to what happened before.
Right.
And you know, but I say respect the craft, get training, but I am certainly the most anti-film school person that you're going to find, because I think that art degrees are worthless unless you're really in a position to take advantage of the degree as an entree into the industry.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. I was talking to my lady Stacey the other day, who's also in the film and also a producer on the film. And I'm usually, definitely the person that's just like, I literally got all my film credits, and then I left Brooklyn College. I was like, what else? I don't need this place or anything else. But so she did bring up what she was like, you learned a lot at Brooklyn College. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I did learn a lot. But then there is it's also about curiosity, in the world, and specifically this country, they beat the curiosity out of us.
Right.
You ask how why is the sky blue enough times, and then you're told because it's blue. And then because you don't have any curiosity, you don't want to learn about your craft. And I think that's a great point. That's actually that's the problem with having all this access, right? People are just like, well, I could just make movies, I can just act, I could just do anything else. I see both sides of it.
Yeah, well, the stick-to-itiveness is what got you where we are today. And I loved your impassioned speech. People should go on YouTube and check out Eden, because I think it was unexpected that you didn't expect to win at ABFF. It was pure emotion. And that's a stick-to-itiveness. A lot of people, they say, I'm going to do this. I mean, I don't know how many people say I'm going to be a ballerina or CSI or whatever. It's just unrealistic goals. And it fades away, but film, is forever, and what you put out as your statements are there to help others. So I'm proud of you.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, that's the kind of insight that people will get by coming out to see the film tonight and then sticking around for the Q&A, so that they can hear more of your philosophies about why you create, and also and really get a chance to put it in the context of what you have created, as people contemplate how they want to interact with the industry, what storytelling they might have, living inside them that needs to come out and reach public audiences. So, for the season 16 opener.
Yeah, pay what you wish.
This is the time.
Pay what you wish. I'm super duper excited. So again, I guess you're on your way. I don't know how long it takes. You're upstate New York. You're not in Brooklyn anymore.
No, I'm in Brooklyn. I'm in Brooklyn.
Are you coming down from Brooklyn? You got the mega bus?
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna be cheaper for us. We don't need as many people to come, because he's taking mega bus. I was afraid if he was driving, we'd have to pay for his.
He's somehow he's trying to cheat himself out of his own free will love offering that he's going to offer you.
I said, well, no,
for coming down.
Well, my thing, if you're on social media, don't make your Instagram all about you. When you see things that are interesting, share them as well. Retweet other people's stuff. We all think we're busy doing stuff, and then it's like, no, you're busy doing you, and that's why these communities fail. We're in season 16. It's never been about making money or profit. It's really about sharing love and keeping people informed. But then it's drastic. Like I don't. I got my friend coming down. I don't want to be super embarrassed. So please, if you can't make it, tell tell people to come down. Let's pack the house. Bruce, it's an award-winning movie, and we have the privilege of sharing it here in Philadelphia.
Indeed. So safe travels, Eden, and I know that tonight is going to be a good time.
Of course it will.
Thank you so much. And just lastly, for the people who won't be able to make it, what led me to make Bruce was that there was a point where I just said, you know what, this could be a real, you know what show. Like, this movie could really suck. And the minute I got okay with that and look forward to failing, that was the minute, like, my life changed. So I just want to leave that with folks. Maybe somebody will hear that.
Yeah.
I wish somebody would have told me that.
I hear that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eden.
Thank you.
Safe travels.
Later,
We'll see you
brother.
tonight.
Let's get it.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we got to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to hear even more about film being presented in and around the city of Philadelphia from the Philadelphia Film Society. More festivals for you to go and check out the next wave of films that you want to support telling our stories. That and much more as we continue this week's edition of Reelblack Radio. Hang tight. So Mike actually leaned over and looked at the iPod and said, "Is this new Prince?" And I said, "No," because I am one of the last remaining people on the planet who will go down swinging for this album. And I send that out as a special dedication to my buddy Will Brock, because Will had not heard the album, The Rainbow Children. And this song in particular, he says that is just hands down great songwriting. It's catchy. It's one of those things where if you listen to the song once, by the time you get to the end of it, you are singing along with the chorus. Like, for everything that we malign pop music for, this song is it in the best kind of way. And so for those of you out there who don't know anything about the Rainbow Children, I say it was designed to be a stage soundtrack for a show that Prince never decided to fully produce. And that's why there are people who hear these long spoken interludes that are like narrator, and they just don't know how to digest the album. It tickles me every time. And, you know, this is coming from the musical theater chick, so that's why I love it. But this song is called She Loves Me for Me. And, you know, just a nod, because every time I see the commercial now that uses Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, and Prince, I was like, was somebody just sitting over the catalogs as a specter of death, waiting to get access to this music to use it to I can't even remember what.
Likely.
Is it a financial institution or like Target?
Well, I
can't remember.
They didn't get it cheap, you know. They didn't get it cheap.
Boo. But you know, Prince in the way that he designs for folks to listen to things is a beauteous thing.
Well, you know, he's a dungeon master of funk. He intentionally makes it hard for casual listeners to appreciate his genius, and then you got to dig through. But now that it's like an archaeological find with Prince records, if you know, because we're not going to get any more new ones. That's right. We're
just going to get all whatever they decide to release out of that massive vault. Yeah,
but you know, I'm not gonna criticize Rainbow Children. We just had a very positive Eden Marryshow, whose social is at Eden Marryshow, EdenMarryshow, like show. And the movie again is called Bruce, and the easiest way to find it is to go to reelblack.com, of course, but if you just go Bruce with 3 exclamation points, it should come right up. But
yes, so Eden Marryshow.
Yes, and
like Mary as put a ring on it, show as in the really big shoe.
Yeah, and I have to get my corporate voice on, because we
for our next guest,
the highfalutin executive director of the Philadelphia Film Society and the Philadelphia Film Festival, which is coming to town beginning next week.
Yes, and they got all kinds of great stuff getting ready to be screened.
I think I'm gonna have to pack my toothbrush. There's so many films at the 27th Philadelphia Film Festival that I have been waiting to see, and this gentleman, along with Michael Lerman and the whole crew of people, make it their life's journey to make sure that Philadelphia has access before virtually anyone else to the best best independent and studio films that are in existence. With us on the line, Andy Greenblatt, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, Executive Director of the Philadelphia Film Society. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Excellent. Are you ready? I always see you in the middle.
I'm always ready. Yeah, we're ready. We're really excited. It's a great lineup this year. Huge, packed, lots of films.
Was it 10 days?
Yeah, 10 days. It's October 18th to 28th.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And, you know, here in the city, Philadelphia has come such a long way as a place where people both come to shoot their films. And certainly now with organizations like yours scoring the premieres, scoring the screenings that draw film enthusiasts out to be a part of the whole atmosphere of what you all are able to create. It's been wonderful to watch it continue to grow.
Oh, thank you. We try hard. That's what we want. We want to bring the best of film from around the world here, and as many premieres as possible.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through. You know, for listeners of Reelblack, there's a lot of great stuff this year. And then specifically to Philly, I'm noticing your closing night film and the long-awaited Kevin Hart film have some Philly ties.
That's right. Yeah, it couldn't get much more Philly, could it? We're closing with the world premiere of the new doc on Teddy Pendergrass.
Yes.
Yes, and it's amazing. I hope that everyone comes out to it. The film is fantastic, and we're going to do a really special performance with Teddy's original band after.
Oh, Alfie's going to be there then.
Yeah.
You got what I need. All right, so that's
like,
that's gonna be live.
You can have Mike there at the screening. You can have Mike filming the screening. Don't have Mike sing or dance.
What? You don't want me up there pull my shirt off? You know, like if the original band's there after the screening, it's gonna be live. People be singing. We did a Teddy thing. It's so emotional. Such an emotional story.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's I'm just trying to pull the date up. October 26th.
Yeah,
7 p.m. at the
exactly.
Is it newly rechristened Philadelphia Film Center?
It is, yeah. Formerly the Prince Theater, now the Philadelphia Film Center. That's right.
Love what you do. And then there's a slight Philly connection with Green Book. Tim Galvin is the production designer on that film, and he lives in Philly.
That's right. And it's a great film. It's really it's powerful, and it's smart, and it's funny. It won the audience award at TIFF, which is usually like a bellwether for going on and winning major awards later in the game.
Yeah, and I had to practice the name. I've been critiqued. Mahershala Ali.
Yes.
His first starring role since winning the Oscar.
Yes.
That's right.
Playing a real life character.
Yes, I saw the trailer for the film while I was out seeing A Star Is Born the other night, and so I'm excited. Like I said, there's so much good stuff there's a part of this program.
You mentioned the Kevin Hart film, The Upside, which is long delayed, but it's shot in Philly, and of course it's got Kevin, and we're thrilled to have the premiere of what I understand is a new cut of the film, different from what was seen when it premiered in Toronto a year ago.
Well, shout out to Tatiana Bacchus and to my buddy Kim Fairbanks, who are both in the trailer, let alone both in the film. I'm thrilled about that. I was like, they got good FaceTime in association with this piece.
That's excellent.
And Tatiana's a regular listener, so shout out to her. And and if Beale Street could talk,
yes.
Yes, absolutely. It's Barry's first movie since he won the Oscar in that amazingly crazy night.
Yeah.
And we've had, I'm pretty sure we've had every one of Barry's films in the festival, so we're thrilled to continue that and have this one.
Wow. Now, are there any special guests coming that you can officially? Widows. Before we get into that, Widows, the new.
Steve McQueen movie, yeah. Also, his first since he won his Oscar. There's a lot of films off Oscars in this year's festival, apparently, which is fun. This is probably his most commercial film, but it's still, it's awesome. We're thrilled to have it. It just had a premiere the other night at the London Film Festival, and then I think we've got the next screening of it, which is really cool.
Yeah, now I've seen the trailers. Viola Davis, she's avenging. It's like a crime caper, basically. You can say that.
Yeah, basically. Their husbands, there's a whole bunch of widows, hence the title, and their husbands are killed, and they go to finish the job.
Wow.
Yeah.
And strong.
It's good. So talk about timeline of this entire process for you of putting together the lineup for the festival, because I imagine this is pretty much a year-long intensive.
Oh, it's 100% a year-long thing. We do the festival in October, and then we start thinking about it immediately in November. We head out to Los Angeles, and we're at AFI Fest and AFM, the American Film Market. It quiets down a little around the holidays, and then it kicks up in January with Sundance, and then it's just straight through the year.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the perks. Andy gets to go all over the planet to watch these movies, and then he cherry picks them and brings them back. I was jealous of the Venice one. I was like, oh God, no, you plant seeds in my head. That seems like amazing.
That's not a normal stop on my festival circuit. It's just the way things worked out nicely this year. Mm-hmm. I don't imagine I'll be back anytime soon. Not for lack of desire. It's a beautiful city and a great festival. It's a hard one to do with our festival so close in Toronto right there. But this year it worked out, which was nice.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm just excited as I scroll through and look at all the films. Studio 54, Rafiki. I mean, there are so many people. If you pay any attention to the buzz that happens around the film world of these wonderful, a lot of them independent films or major studio films that just really have a particular draw from certain audiences, then this is the place to be over the next couple of weeks for sure.
If you love film, I mean, you should just be there for like a week and a half. That's what we do.
That's right. Just clear your schedule and just go see movies for a whole 10 days.
Don't do any, and we'll show them all day, so you really don't have to do anything else. Just eat a lot of popcorn, watch a lot of movies.
all over the city. Ground Zero is the newly christened Philadelphia Film Center, and there are a lot of movies that are available for people to see for free.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And then also, what guests do we have that you can name that are going to be at some of the screenings?
You know, we're still booking people every day. We've got Jason Reitman coming in for his new film, The Frontrunner. We've got Joel Edgerton coming in with his film, Boy Erased. We've got Peter Hedges there for opening night when we're doing Ben is Back. We've got Paul Dano coming in for Wildlife. As I said, we've got the director and then the whole Teddy Bear Orchestra coming in for the Teddy Doc. And many more to come.
Yeah,
nice.
And, I remind everyone listening, none of this experience, we're talking about experiences, which culminate into your life or your memories, will be available on Netflix or Fire Stick anytime soon. You've got to be at the place.
Yes.
Not one film that we're showing is available on anywhere online right now. So this is the first chance you'll have to see it. In some cases, the only chance in a theater. In some cases, it might be the only chance, period, to see it.
Well, that is a selling point for sure. Andrew, we appreciate your time on the air with us. We wish you an incredibly successful festival, and keep us in the loop as this continues to grow. I imagine as you press toward 30, it's going to be a really big shoot.
Oof, that's a few years away, but it's in the back of my mind already.
Let's get through this week. Filmadelphia.org is the website that has all the ticket information, the full listing, the book. And then if you're around the city, these big, thick books are floating around. Those are collector's items. If you're going to a festival, pick one up. And then when you go to the screenings, meet the directors and have them sign.
That's right. There's nothing like a film festival guide. Nothing in the world like it.
Well, if you get them signed, then you can get your money back years later. On eBay, all the money, it recirculates. That's the karma, right? That we started with the day with. So.
It's a beautiful thing. Well, there's lots of great stuff for you to see, and we expect that folks listening to Real Black Radio will take full advantage. And with that, we got to take our final commercial break of today's program. We'll be back to wrap up this week's edition of Real Black Radio in just a moment. Giving you a selection from the compilation album Impulsive Revolutionary Jazz Reworked. That is Chico Hamilton's El Toro, given a little bit more funky goodness courtesy of producer Mark DeClive Lowe. So
Chico was in the building. Good.
Keeping it cool for you as we prepare to wrap up this week's edition of Real Black Radios. Mike D and Stephanie Renee here in studio. For those of you who have student designation, If you work for a nonprofit and you just want to see what possible free hookup you can get to check out some of the films in this year's Philadelphia Film Festival, they have a program called PFS on Us, which is a free ticketing program. It is able to provide all different kinds of tickets available as they are made available to see not just the screenings during the festival, but also the Passport to World Cinema and the Philly Film Showcase. These are all things that the Philly Film Society puts together. So get your pens, get ready. You can find out more information about that at Philadelphia.org, along with the full schedule of screenings for the Philadelphia Film Festival. The call center for the festival is available at 215-422-4570. Again, that's 215-422-4570. And they have free ticket packages of 10 tickets or more for certain social service organizations and arts organizations around the city. If you are doing this as an individual, it's a limit to 2 tickets per film under each individual reservation. Right. But the point is, they're making free tickets available. Right. So for those people where it really is cost prohibitive, you've got options.
But I mean, the festival, traditionally you have in front of you, the documentaries and the American films are always free for everybody, but they do sell out. So you have to, the festival starts on Thursday. Tickets are on sale now on the website. Go through it now and pick your tickets out. But I believe all the documentary and American films are free for everybody. Now, there's certain things that are centerpiece screenings and showcases. So like the Kevin Hart movie, that may be sold out already because there's only 1 or 2 screenings of that. And there's so many people involved living in Philly that want to see it. But I encourage you, go to the website if you have it, on your phone or laptop or computer, and just go through the sightings, because last year weren't as many melanated projects, but this year I'd say a good 20 movies I would recommend. Yeah. For as far as representation. Now,
great stuff.
Before, as we're closing, we spoke, I'm doing a live stream podcast on YouTube now, and we spoke briefly about these topics. Now, this guy was voted off the island already, but I gotta get your feelings about the Trump-Kanye at the White House.
I did that in the first hour of the program today, so I'm not going to go back and revisit it. I think that his mental health issues, given this much audience, is problematic.
Yeah.
I would much rather him make sure his family is good and that he's taking his meds and that he recommits himself to the creativity that he is capable of, because it's not like he hasn't shown us that he's a capable producer. He's a so-so MC to me, but I would really love for him to focus on that.
Well, that's true. I think he's always been like this, but this whole MAGA thing has taken it to another level, and I've given up defending his actions because I don't think he stands behind really what he says. And it was very scary to see him still with Candace Owens next to him. I thought he had dropped her, and then poor Jim Brown standing there mumbling whatever he was mumbling and talking about jobs and industry. It's not, I think it happens to a lot of successful people where they lose sight of themselves, and trust me, I don't invite fame. That's not my dream, but I'm not afraid of wealth, but I'm afraid of wealth and money surrounded by the wrong people. Because this looks like he's off the rails. And
well, I was going to say, if you don't have good people around you, then them having access to all that you have through your sheer talent or through your business acumen or whatever else, folks will leech off of you till it's gone, and then they move on to the next carcass, and it's really disturbing to see. But I really, really think people say that it's all a publicity stunt. I don't believe that with Kanye. No. I really do think that there are times where he is purposely not taking his meds, or he is trying to yield some kind of FaceTime that will propel him into whatever his next thing is that's going to bring him fame. And he wants to turn the fame into fortune. And in the midst of all of that,
this is not going to be a successful dismount, Kanye. You know, this is get the album out, speak through your art, but the constant stunts is not working right now. It's not. It's you got to change that one.
Can you believe it? Mike and I agree on something.
Well, it's pretty painful. You know, he's talking about alternate universes, like, you know.
I didn't watch the whole thing.
Well, if you watch the video, which I don't encourage you to do, watch it with the sound off and just look at everybody's body language.
Yeah, that was enough. I saw from the clips where people were just really like saucer eyed.
Well, Trump is just like completely wrapped in, and Kanye's running over, giving him hugs and pounds and stuff. Yeah. And in my alternate universe, I said, wow, this is the moment that Kanye shows his true colors. And he pulls off his mask, and then he gets the strap from Jim Brown. And he jumps up on the desk and does the Bobby Shmurda dance and does what we all want to make America great again. But it didn't happen that way.
We are out of time. However, the one other thing that we wanted to acknowledge was this ongoing debate now that is raging about colorism in Hollywood.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I got a text here from Daryl DeBress. Reminder on my website, Frank McComb is performing on Lancaster Avenue on Monday.
Nice. Okay.
And tickets are available. So that went in the blast today. Yeah. People got upset on Twitter. At least theroot.com did, because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson chose to say that he wants to play John Henry on a Netflix show.
Yeah, so
John Henry, the folk hero, the mythical folk hero.
There's a lot that's invested in this. I will say that this particular conversation began with Michael B. Jordan, who we are saying we need to snatch up with love and go, don't be in public loud and wrong talking about there is no black mythology, because John Henry is the first thing that came to mind when you even mentioned black mythology. And if we are in here policing people's ethnic percentages, we are going down a very slippery slope, bad path in black society, period. Now, I told Mike that I jump on the bandwagon to say that I think Winston Duke, who played M'Baku on Black Panther, would have been an excellent choice to play John Henry. But what I don't want to hear are the people who would then come back and say, but he's not American. He's big and black. Isn't that the requirement? He's an actor.
Right.
You know, the whole idea of embodying this
John
character.
Henry being strong and coming out of the fields ready to steel drive miles of train track. It can't be a light-skinned brother. And I'm like, well, there had to have been some light-skinned people in the fields, you know.
There were plenty.
There are all kinds of people in the fields.
Exactly. And so I was going to say, at least The Rock has the build. It's not like he's not Kevin Hart trying to go out there and be John Henry on film.
Yeah, that would be a stretch. Kevin, please. Now, Kevin, that's where I'd be like, stay in your lane, Kevin.
That's all I'm saying.
Stay in your lane. Don't. I know you got buff, but don't do the John. But I'm sure that if he insisted, there would be a part in the John Henry movie with The Rock for Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
and I'd be open to that. But don't just stay.
Because they're such good friends.
That'd be. I'd almost pay to see that. But I'm glad all these movies are going to Netflix, and Kevin get a Netflix deal. I can't pay any more money out of my own pocket. Even time to get dressed is hurting me, Kevin. I need your work is best at home.
All right, we gotta go. Right. Today's show has been brought to you by the Annenberg Center for the Performing Arts, presenting Spectrum Dance Theater, Rap on Race. For more information, visit annenbergcenter.com and make sure that you come back here again, same bat time, same bat channel, next Friday for the next edition of Reelblack Radio. Brother Shamari is up next, 1 to 4, here on Word Radio. Stay tuned.
Brand new filmmaker born every day. Put a camera in his hand and let him lead the way. Let me get an Oscar, let me get an Emmy. Reelblack woke up the filmmaker Emmy. Whether digital, 8mm, 35. Let's make the movies that can open the eyes. Let's tell the stories that need to be told. Make them laugh, make them cry, for the young, for the old. Come on, let's shake it, make it, and make movies. Reelblack, I really like the way you do me. Be like that, baby.